Welcome back to RuskiWeldFab, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to a debrief after Alton Park and sort of a midweek update, if you will.
That's a good one!
As you've probably seen from my vlog from Alton Park, it went really well. And slightly undeservedly, but I got another second place, another cup for Tiggy Racing. Very happy about that, and thank you for to the team for all the support. And it's just great to be part of the team. The cars arrived, as always. I keep saying that it's so refreshing when you can actually drive your car back onto the trailer by itself without using a winch or just, you know, if it's not broken. We had one issue, however, still overheating. This thing that I've made in a previous video did not seem to make any impact at all. Maybe it has, but I just did not really see it. I mean, temperatures would just climb rapidly. I've seen temperatures at around 110 degrees, literally at the end of a really hot lap. So I'm very not comfortable with those temperatures. However, they would cool really quick. They would go back down to like 95 within a third of a lap as soon as I sort of let go and go at about 90% pace. So I asked this question on Facebook group about why the temperature and blah blah, and a lot of people say that the pump that I'm using, it's the Davis Greg EPV80, is just not powerful enough. It only does 80 liters per minute and I need a more powerful one. So took this on board and we got this one. The reason why I got the other one, this is a little bit heavier and price wise they're pretty much the same, and this one is perfect working condition, so I'll be able to sell. So it was never really a sort of a price difference consideration, whatever. It's not like I chipped out. Don't think that. I figured 80 would be enough, but apparently people say you need 130. So this is EVP 130, which is 130 liters per minute. So if you make a calculation, that's almost 35-40% more capacity, more pressure and everything. Might not solve the problem by itself, or it might. But another thing that I was thinking, the radiator, the one I bought is bloody cheap. eBay, the cheapest one I could find. That was 4 years ago. And it works. It's an aluminium radiator. It's not leaking or anything, but all the fins are starting to crumble. And before Alton Park, what I did, I actually went through with a small fine flathead screwdriver and tried to straighten out all the fins, and some of them were so crumbly, so I just had to sort of scrape them out of the way. So there's like 5 mil inwards, there's like a new clean layer. So I figured if I'm putting a new pump, may as well put a new radiator, right? So I started looking, and you're probably looking at my new t-shirt and thinking, hey Rusky, this is not your usual t-shirt. Why does it say Direnza? Guys, I would like to announce a new supporter, sponsor, partner, friend, if you will, Direnza. I basically reached out asking for, you know, as you do, discount. And they were very helpful with everything, and they basically decided to come on board, and now I am proudly sponsored, supported by Direnza. So what I got here is a brand new radiator. It's the same size as mine. It's a 40 mil core, obviously hand welded and everything. So it's effectively a custom jobby. This is a non-AC version because obviously I'm not running AC. They also have AC version for Clio 172, 182. I think they're all the same size, mounting points wise. It's a 40 mil, but the overall dimensions are standard, so obviously it will fit into the standard sort of rubber grommets that I'm using, and it will bolt directly onto my brackets that I have. So they're not very expensive, just marginally more than your cheap eBay stuff, even though they do sell on eBay, obviously. So I'll leave links in the description for both this one, which is a non-NC version, and the one with the AC. So you can, you know, buy one for yourself, because Direnza is, if you don't know, they're a UK company. So let's just, you know, help a local one. They effectively design and make all of their own stuff. So, you know, it's not Chinese made, it's basically made here in the UK. And you know how much I love stuff that's made in the UK, like with Pro Alloy, with intercooler, and, you know, a bunch of other things. So, yeah, Direnza, thank you. I mean, this should, I don't know if it will help, but it will certainly be a sort of a future-proof item, because, you know, their customer service and everything is far better than some Chinese company who just sends stuff here and sells them on eBay. So I'm sure if I run into any sort of issues in future, then I'll get the support that I deserve, we all deserve. Anyways, so the radiator will go in there, the new pump will go in there, but we still haven't addressed the issue. Why is it overheating? I have a few theories. One of the theories is that when you feed this pump, they specifically mentioned pretty much everywhere that all the EVP series, they're not self-priming pumps, meaning you need to prime them, meaning you need to get all the air out, all the fluid in them fully for them to work properly. I've done it the first time before Cadwell Park. Basically, in the instructions, you need to feed it sort of like that, and then you sort of tilt it, and then so the air can escape. So I've done that, but because I have a mount and because it's so bloody tight in there, and last time before Brands Hatch, that's when I started having this issue. Before Brands Hatch, I can't remember what, I think I was, oh yeah, duh, Funk Motorsport, how could I forget? The fire that we had, I had to replace one of the hoses, and if I have it here, I can show you this hose. Yeah, look at that. If you can see, yeah. So I had to replace this hose, so I had to drain all the fluid. Not all the fluid, but most of it. And then when I just filled that up, what I didn't do is I didn't sort of do this priming thing. I figured maybe the fluid there was enough in there already. Apparently there wasn't. So I'm thinking there could be this, that I didn't prime it and there's just air cavitation, yeah, inside the pump, preventing it from cooling efficiently. Also, some friends said that maybe the sensors are a little bit out of whack, out of sync or whatever. So what I'm gonna do, this weekend we have 10 of the best event, which is, if you don't know, 10 of the best TOB. 3 disciplines: handling circuit, drag quarter mile, and VMAX, basically half a mile top speed runs. Last year I won handling circuit, and actually I was supposed to make a video. I have all the footage, I haven't. And I came second in drag. And this weekend I'm going again, and I have high hopes for at least handling circuit to win something. So I need to change oil, because oil is already 2 rounds of Cadwell Park, 2 rounds of Brands, and 1 Alton. So basically 5 events old oil. So we need to change that. So I'm changing the oil, and may as well change the coolant, because we are changing the pump and the radiator. But because I'm gonna have to drain everything out, what I can do is I can take oil temperature sensor out and the water temperature sensor out, and I can test them on the bench. Basically plug in my laptop to the ECU, get a little tap of water for the water and oil for the oil temperature. I'll heat it up. I have external thermometers that I'll be able to monitor, and then we can compare the temperatures that ECU sees and my thermometer. I might even put 2 just to make sure, just so we know that the scaling in the ECU is absolutely correct, and the car is basically showing me what the real temperatures are. All right. Enough of this chit chat, let's fit this. I'm not sure if I want to do a little time lapse fitting this. I might just set the camera just so you can see some bits and pieces, but I'm sure changing a radiator is nothing sort of short of a miracle for you. But again, Direnza, thank you so much guys for coming on board. I really appreciate this. I love the t-shirt, by the way. I did ask for an old used t-shirt, cheekily, because, you know, in a workshop, yeah, I always use t-shirts, and yeah, they were like, no, we cannot send you bad one, the old one. Here you go, here's the new one. Anyways, guys, let's fit this, and I'll show you how I test those sensors in just a second. So this is how you check your sensors and you do the scaling for them. Very simple. I have a little metal container, tin can or whatever you want to use, that has oil inside. I have two sensors. I have water sensor and I have a temperature, oil temperature sensor. I am plugged in to my ECU, so I can see the oil temperature sensor reading 18 degrees and water temperature is reading 24 degrees. I have an external thermometer that is showing me 22.6. So from this I can gather that the water temperature is showing a bit higher and the oil temperature is showing a little bit lower. And this is actually a little kind of consistent with what Nigel Pindewagen said about something is off about the sensors, because usually oil is higher than water, but on mine it was always slightly the opposite, if you know what I mean. I mean, it was always really consistent, never above 100, but all of a sudden water decided to go through the roof. So the next step is you take one of those little bad boys and you heat it up, and then you read the temperature on your external temperature thermometer and you compare it to those. If there are any variations, what you do, because it's giving me the millivolts on each sensor, what I do is basically I update the table with new settings. So effectively the car knows that if at this resistance it shows this millivolts, this is the temperature that I'm telling the system this is. All very simple, but because it's two sensors and I need to sort of monitor, it's not very simple, but it is. So let's start heating this up and let's test it. It might take me a good hour to do this. Well, not cool. Sorry, no pun intended. Yeah, seems like the sensors are way out of scale. It's really weird. Basically at 130 degrees actual, and I'm running two independent thermometers stuck in a sort of in a tin. The water would only go to 105, something like that. I mean, I might be off, but anyways, at actual temperature, the water much lower, and oil temperature, for example, right now is showing 84 on both of those, and on the system it's registering as 62 degrees. So we're completely off. So what I'm doing now is I'm recording every single 10 degrees while it's cooling. By the way, this is a top tip for you guys. If you're planning to do this, don't measure on the way up, because it's almost impossible to catch the temperature, the correct temperature going up, because it heats up a lot quicker when going up a lot quicker when you're heating up. So heat it up to 140 and then wait. It might take a bit longer, but at least it's a lot more gradual. So as soon as it heats, it's 82 now, as soon as it hits 80, I'm gonna write down another current millivolts for both water and oil sensor. As soon as I have a full graph all the way down to whatever the degree is now, 20, I'll put it all into the system. I'll obviously take the picture of the current ones just in case I need to go back, and then we'll test it again. So So after calibrating it, it's almost bang on. So I can see 130 on the thing, and we can see it 129, 130 there. But what I'm doing now is I'm actually averaging those.
Tomorrow for sure.
Ta-da! Again, I was a bit lazy and I didn't film all the final steps because obviously 5 o'clock Friday, this thing's supposed to be on that thing now because we need to be there by 9 anyways. So it's all done. So the new radiator by Direnza has been fitted. I had to modify it ever so slightly. I didn't film it again, but what I have is basically I welded. I really should have fitted. I'm getting lazy at this sometimes. Anyways, basically the return is now going into the radiator as opposed into the bottom hose. We'll see what that does. The pump is there. It's slightly bigger, so I had to sort of finesse it into place. But it's there, and thanks to Nigel Pindewagen, I have a table of duty cycles that he sent me that he uses EVP 150, mine is 130, so I modified it with a slight 10% increase according to my mathematician
Apart
guru.
from the fact that I did the wrong way.
Yeah, but anyway, so we did that and it seems to be running okay at 80 degrees, really sort of. So the sensor scaling I've done. That's it. That's pretty much it. That's what we were planning and we were trying to accomplish. So it has a new radiator, it has a new, more powerful pump. I have removed the thermostat because before I drilled some holes, and you've probably seen it in the video, and a lot of people said, well, this is not really sort of, if you're using it. Anyways, people said remove it, this will increase. Yeah, new water, and obviously I changed the oil. So yeah, it kind of had a full service and it's ready to conquer the 10 of the best. So wish me luck, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.